Good afternoon, good evening. Let's be honest about what this conversation actually is. Some people aren't trying to quit their job, they're just not trying to disappear. They're not trying to be reckless, they're just trapped. They trapped in policies written for office buildings, they trapped in homes they can't sell, they trapped by jobs that won't give them time off, even when the stress is screaming and they just need to leave. Sometimes people just need a weekend to get away, and they can't. Why is that? Trapped by income, trapped by something. Sometimes you just need distance. Sometimes you need to wake up somewhere else that just feels like calm. And the reality is, for a lot of people, remote work is the only lifeline they have. They don't want to escape responsibility. They don't want to go back to anywhere. Now, let's just talk about economics because it matters. If you can earn in the United States income and live somewhere else in another country where money stretches 5 times further, oh, that's not fantasy. That's math. That's the difference between drowning and breathing. But the system wasn't designed for that level of mobility. Some people are left asking these questions. How do I travel without triggering alarms? How do I stay productive without being flagged? How do I look normal to a system that weren't built for movement? That's what we're talking about tonight. Not pretending the rules don't exist, but understanding that when the world becomes unstable, people will always find a way to create personal stability. This is what we learn in how people stay professional, connected, and employed while being halfway around the world without blowing up their job or their life. And yes, this is about doing it carefully because there's a difference between being reckless and being intentional. And tonight, we're going to talk about the intentional side. Give us a few minutes. We got a special guest that's going to show you how to do this and how to do it right.
Welcome back, fellas. What's going on, man? It's been a
What's going
while,
on?
man. I've been asked by people in the chat. I've been asked by people in my email, yo, what's going on with Kano? I see you and Fearless. I said, Kano is moving. He's getting his family life, and life is lifing for him. So you got to give him some seconds. It was the holidays. Everybody went and did their own individual things. We grew YouTube channels. Some of us are writing books and so on. So let's catch up real quick. This is the first live broadcast of the Lions Den for 2026. Got all the brothers back on the panel. You know how the Lions Den is. We're unfiltered. We're going to tell you the hard truth. And hey, iron sharpens iron. Ain't nobody taking it personal. It's all about personal growth.
Definitely.
So you know, I'll tell you what I've been up to. I got another YouTube channel I'm starting out this year. It's called Wealth Talks, Legacy Walks. It's going to be more about looking at different systems of investment. I'm not selling you anything. We're just breaking down those systems to say whether they're a successful thing or not a successful thing, and some of the fraud that's out there that people are falling into, rug pulls and different things like that. So that's what that challenge is going to be about. I'm actually in the middle of finalizing a book, my first book. You guys have seen me stumble through AI for almost a year now. Okay. AI is getting better. The technology is getting better. The likenesses are getting better. I got a little complaint because Kano over there with the model face looking like kissy face up on the thumbnail, you know, but hey, we'll get it right. But at the end of the day, I have a new book coming out called AI Filmmakers Playbook. And it's basically all my mistakes I've taken as an older guy trying to learn AI and get through setting up consistent characters, how to film camera angles, how to use those commands in order to do from image to video and so on. So take all my mistakes, throw it in a book so you don't have to make those same mistakes. And here you go. That's what that playbook is all about, is to help you advance a lot further. Why reinvent the wheel? If I've already struggled to get it done, why should you? So that's what that book's going to be about. I'm going to roll over to Fearless. Tell us what you've been up to. I know you got a lot of YouTube channels, and then we're going to finish up with Kanal, and then we'll get into this line.
I have a few that I've been working on. as they say, sometimes you take a step backwards. What they say, you take a step back so you can take two steps forward. So that's what I did. I had to re-strategize and redo some things and prioritize for the new year. Seems that I was busy, but I was not being productive. And so that's what I wanted to be about. I wanted to change up. So I have a live channel, a rant channel. I even wanted to change up the travel so I can talk about the three pillars of how I travel, because I've seen the travel space. One thing I found is when I travel, I don't even look up the people we follow on when I'm going places. And I said, if I can't look them up, why would anybody want to look me up? So I wanted to talk about how I travel, how I afford to travel, how I travel with the family, how I travel solo, and the things that you would look up if you're going somewhere. So we're just revitalizing, taking it back, and just want to go into 2026 with a whole different perspective. Uh, because the past is the past. And I know y'all growing up since then. I mean, sometimes you got to graduate. And if y'all still in 2025 talking about 2020 things, this ain't the channel for you. It's grown adults.
All right, Kanon, bring us up to speed on what's going on with you.
Yeah, definitely, guys. It's great to be back. I've been super busy. Of course, now I'm married with kids. Sometimes you got to take a step back and really focus on what's really important. And the fact that my wife has been transitioning well here in the States, so I've been really being her cheerleader. I was just there to support her, make sure she's okay. She's going to school, she's working, so that requires me to spend more time with the kids. So yeah, I've kind of focused on work more. Trying to get another contract extension, and really I've been taking a different pivot in regards to how I will create content moving forward. I felt like, Black Man Travels is something of the past for me. I think I'm kind of ready to move on from that stage and just do something completely different. So, I've been sitting back watching others, trying to figure out where to pivot. And I decided to change my channel from Black Man Travels to now Travel Unfiltered Perspective. So I want to just start adding some thoughts into what's going on, current events, from health, relationships, and everything else. So yeah, I'm still here. I'm still traveling. I'm still got some trips lined up for this year, but I'm so excited that next year I'll be heading to Brazil for the Brazilian Carnival in Bahia. So I'm back. It's great to be back, and it's great to see these guys again. And shout out to Fearless and Ronin for doing an amazing job with their content and with their platforms. And I wish you guys nothing but success in 2026.
Same, brother. Yeah, man. I'm serious. I got so many questions about, where's Kanal? I haven't seen him. Is everything all right? I mean, brothers were worried, man, till you popped up the other night.
It's funny. A few people did hit me up on email, DM, saying like, "Yo, what happened to you, man?" I was like, "Dude, I'm lifing, man. I'm married with a 2-year-old. It's hard to be 47 years old with a 2-year-old, but shit, Fearless got me beat."
Oh,
Fearless 60 years old with a 1-year-old. So
not 60 yet.
I don't know what to say about that, man. So
I'm closer to the 60 than he is, and I might be having a few. So anyway,
take some priorities myself. I promise
everybody knows what this little device looks like. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. We can skip. Go ahead.
Yeah. Everybody knows what this little device looks like. Everybody should know because we've all promoted it on our channels. I actually had an affiliate link for it, and Fearless just did a whole intro, or not even an intro. How long is your video, Fearless?
Well, I got one that just sums up when I was out of town and me using it.
That's
then I have
right
a whole 14-minute instructional on how to set up one yourself. And if you don't know, that is a travel router. And usually what the travel router is used for is for a number of things. A lot of people say they want to be digital nomads and they want to go places, but your job keeps you here. So how can you be in two places at one time? That allows you to keep your home IP address so it appears that you're somewhere in the States when you actually on the beaches of Thailand or in the clubs of Sosua or somewhere in the parks of Medellin. No one knows. And, sometimes you have problems when you're away that you can't access certain things. I know I couldn't access certain bank accounts to transfer money when I was out of the country. And this device lets you look like you're home. So those people who are thinking about, how can I be a digital nomad? How can I travel these places? Also, as you know how the news is today, man, we're taking oil from Venezuela. We want to fight Cuba now. We want to go some places. So sometimes you may need to get away from the United States. And if you're not prepared to get away, you better start preparing now before it's too late. It's instability. I just looked at something on the news where uh, some part of Nebraska or Oklahoma, the town only has 11,000 people. The largest employer was Tyson Chicken, and they laid off 1/3 of the whole population of that city.
Oh, that town is dying.
So what do you think would happen? You have a house that you can't sell, school that your kids go to. What if you could still work somewhere remote and still stay where you're at until that transition happens? These are things you need to know and how you can make that happen. So
And
stay
it just go ahead.
no, stay tuned, because
Yeah.
the way that the society is moving, there aren't any borders anymore, or sometimes there may be borders that you need to escape from or to, or something of that nature, and you need to know how to do it. And you're not preparing yourself. Uh, it's always when they say you want to cut down a tree and it's going to take an hour, you spend 50 minutes sharpening the axe. This is that 50 minutes you need to be sharpening the axe, so you're prepared when that time comes.
Well, you know what? Tonight, I mean, thanks to Canal Travels Unfiltered, you know, we have a special guest. He's an author and a specialist in this specific area. So tonight, Marcus Mayo, he's the founder and owner of FatBoy Travels LLC. Marcus didn't just start out in cybersecurity. He started off as a traveler. And when he began asking, when people began asking him how he was working remotely across countries without setting off corporate alarms, he did what most people don't. He tested it himself. What came out of it was his ability to work and a real field tested knowledge of the digital nomad's cybersecurity space, period. So this man is not only a proven traveler, he's a nomad, and he knows this gear like the back of his hand. 6 books have come out behind him with the in-depth knowledge that he has. So he has a wealth of knowledge. I hope you guys listen in, even on the replay, take notes, because unless you want to buy this brother's book, this is the free information you're getting right now. So I want to welcome Marcus Mayo to the stage. FatBoy Travels.
Hello, gentlemen.
How you doing, my brother?
Good night and good evening, wherever you are in the world. So thank you for the introduction. So essentially, I'm doing a promotional tour of the books that I've just developed. So there are 6 books. Each has their own specific structure. I've also created 9 products that are associated with that, some workbooks and guides that walk you through step by step how to set up this infrastructure. Generally, what I saw, what prompted me to create this knowledge base was a gap in the knowledge out there. There's a lot of YouTube videos that cover this topic, but a lot of them center on one particular infrastructure, which is setting up a router in the United States and connecting to that from another country. Mine takes a little bit different route and researched. I actually have built out a case study as well on why it works, which is also on my Gumroad. So essentially the infrastructure that I built is a VPN mesh network that builds in redundancy so that you can connect to exit nodes wherever you are in the world. And if one goes down, you're not dependent upon someone to reset the router in the United States. You're not dependent on someone to, may not be technical enough to deal with the router. Everything is self-hosted, and you can take this wherever you are in the world. It goes around corporate SOC because of the fact that normally when you're connecting, they're either looking for a residential address, IP address, or they're looking for addresses that are blocked. So this goes around that by having a single use IP address that you can change whenever you need to.
And I'm going to help the brother out. I'm trying to find mine, but I think it's upstairs. So what he's talking about is like the way that I have mine set up is I have two routers. So I have one router that's connected to my home modem. And then I have the router that I take with me when I travel. What does that do? When the router that I'm traveling with actually connects to my home router. So the IP address that says where someone is located, it will say that I am still at home. Why does that work out? A lot of times people have these Nord VPNs, and when your company has also a VPN, it's saying, hey, one VPN to another VPN, it blocks it. So you're out of the country and you think, oh man, I can get in the Nord VPN and that'll work. That doesn't work with some companies that have their own VPN. Like we have Zscaler that we use, and you can't get in. It'll let you know where you're out somewhere. So with this travel router, this connects to my home router. So my IP address always looks like I'm at home. Now, what he is stating is correct. What happens if I'm out of the country and the electric goes down? Something happens and it resets my router and nobody's home to plug it in and it goes down. That means I'm out of the country. I have no way to get back to my home address. You know, if you live alone, you kind of stuck. There's nobody there to reset your router, nobody there to reset your modem. And now you are out of the country and shell shocked. So I think the method that he has is the foolproof, because a lot of people who are digital nomads and want to travel may not even have a stable residence in the United States where they can set it up. Because I'm going to have to pay Spectrum every month to make sure that my internet is on so I can connect. But what about the person who leaves out the country for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months? They're not paying rent somewhere else. They want to be on the go. So I want you guys to listen to this method that he has, because that might supervent the problems that we may have, the people who are just casual travelers. We're just trying to extend our weekend a few days.
So for my example, I've been on the road quite a bit for months at a time. I've been doing this for over 10 years. So I've been in different countries: Brazil, Colombia, Dominican Republic, even in Africa, across Africa, Thailand. So every example of a router going down, I would face at some point in time during my travels. And having to depend on someone at the house when your router goes down, having to call, having to, I need to get in now. I have a meeting, and I can't depend on someone who may be at work themselves to go home to connect my router, right? Having to depend on someone, power outages and all types of things I've come across. So having dealt with that, it was, okay, how can I set up something that doesn't cost a lot? I can show you how to set this up for $46 a month, not including the cost of a router. How do I set it up where I can have it redundant, where if one of my exit nodes goes down, I can click into another exit node, or I can set up multiple exit nodes to automatically fail over. How do I do this simply? So for those who are not technical, I walk you through how to do it in the VPN dashboard from the actual router. I prefer GLI routers as well. I have an affiliate deal with them as well. So I show you all that. I walk you through with screenshots. We have diagrams in the books as well. So it's laid bare as far as how to connect and how to do this. The software solution itself is actually free. It's through Tailscale, which is a VPN mesh, and you can set up a exit node for, like I said, $4 to $6 a month.
And let me tell you guys this, just to be honest. I am technical, and when I set mine up, I still had issues because it wasn't as straightforward as it should have been, or trying to follow someone online. And this is what I hate. I guess because this is some of the things I do at work, I make sure that if I am telling others how to do something, I go step by step by step and don't go from step A to step C and assume that they understand what step B is. And a lot of times on the internet, when you're watching the program, they don't take you through those steps, or they don't take you through the gotchas and things that happen when you're doing it. So the fact that he can take you step by step is greatly appreciated, because there's a lot of stumbling blocks that just happen, or you might use terminology that someone doesn't understand. So the fact that you have pictures and you can go step by step really helps you out. And I want to talk about some of why would someone use this. One, we talked about layoffs, and layoffs, they don't hit evenly. You know, the economy can collapse fast. You know, a lot of people are just GM laid people off. People are getting laid off right before the new year. And so remote workers, you aren't trapped into a market. You can pivot one place to the other without uprooting your entire life. So remote isn't about escape. It's really about optionality. So can you go into that, why it helps someone who is a remote worker?
Absolutely. So if you're a remote worker, primarily a knowledge worker, right? So you're someone who, does networking or does anything in IT, something that doesn't require a physical presence. This gives you the optionality, right? Optionality of where you want to work, optionality of taking advantage of location arbitrage, right? If I asked you, how much are you willing to pay to keep your $100,000 job and not lose it and be able to work from wherever you wanted to work? Is that something you would pay, a significant amount? Most people would. I'm offering a solution that, like I said, for $46 a month and 20-minute setup, you can be able to work wherever you want to be in the world and not have to depend upon someone in the US to, connect your router in case of a power failure, right? So
1 second, real quick, FatBoy Travels. So are you saying you have already a backbone network set up that you offer a service for a nominal fee? Is that what you're saying? So you have the redundant sites already pre-set up for people to utilize?
No, the sites aren't set up. These are commercially available solutions. Like I said, the Tailscale itself is a free software solution.
Okay.
So that's a free software solution that anyone can utilize. You just set up an account.
Yeah.
Actual data centers, they have VPS self-hosting data centers, and I have a few that listed in my book as well. Give you several options as well as those. You can pick one or multiple and set up your Tailscale to be able to have multiple exit nodes. You can also set it up where it has monitoring. I cover monitoring in the book, so monitoring your infrastructure anytime it goes down.
Mm-hmm.
I've also had it set up to where I said it walks you through. So my next book is actually going to focus on monitoring the infrastructure. So I touch on it throughout the books, but I also walk you through how to set up the VPS step by step. And like I said, the guides that I've also produced on the Gumroad, they have clear pictorials step by step all the way through with screenshots how to set this stuff up. So I tried to set it up to be as simple as possible so anyone can pick this up and figure it out.
I am mentally kicking myself in the butt because ever since the military, I know about redundant networks. When I sold network infrastructure, I sold redundant networks. I don't know why I never picked up on somebody having a need of why they're overseas, having a system like this in place in multiple locations. So if one power grid goes down, you got a whole nother grid that comes up instantly and allows that person to continue to function and not show up. So the biggest question I have, and the biggest question most people would want to say is, what's the biggest mistake most remote workers make that actually get them flagged by corporate security?
Well, I can tell you that.
Yeah, there's a lot, right?
So every login that you do is logged. Every device you have, like my computer, has a fingerprint. Every location, when you go somewhere, I know that even when I have my router, a lot of people sign in to the hotel first before going in their VPN. So most people get caught not because they're doing something wrong. It's just because they sloppy. And that's the first part. You can't be sloppy with it. But
Exactly.
go ahead.
You have to be intentional about everything you do when you do. There are consequences to being sloppy. The use case that I actually created, I'm working with a gentleman just recently. He's working for a Fortune 500 healthcare company. He was using the LINet router, but he was using commercial VPN. He got flagged, right? He was currently in Colombia. He was using commercial VPN, he was using Nord, and they flagged him. And they told him, locked him out of the system. The SOC team contacted him, said he can't be using Nord, and they wouldn't allow him to get back into the system until he fixed it. So he called me actually panicking. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to solve this, how to get in the back in the system. And he knew I was working on my books and my experimentation. So I actually sat up with him, walked him through. It took about 2 to 3 hours of implementation, setting him up on multiple exit nodes, utilizing, setting him up on the account from Tailscale from start to finish. And when I got off the phone, he was able to connect through the exit nodes. And he's been working for over a month now, no issues.
And so what a lot of people think, oh man, I can use my Nord VPN and I can get somewhere. When you have, like my company has its own VPN. We use Zscaler to get in. So you can't go VPN to VPN. Just doesn't happen like that. It locks you out. I'm in cyber and I got put out of my own system. And I can tell you when. We were 2 years ago, we were in Cuba. And I was on like flying over. And I guess as soon as I landed, I maybe shut my phone down and looked at something. And there are certain countries that we flag automatically. It was like Cuba, Russia, some places in China, shuts you out. And I get a call like, hey, where was you at? What's going on? Because it shuts you out the system and you can't get back in because of that. And when let's see, I was out, I made a video. So if you get a chance, Ronin, I'll play what happened to me when I was out of the country, how I used mine to get in too.
So there's a couple comments that I see I want to just address a little bit. So one is, isn't this against company's policy and could potentially get you fired? So in the books, I also address that. I address in the foundational book 1, I address what SOC teams or security teams look for, what will cause you to get flagged. So I address that, whether or not it's against the policy. I also have a disclaimer that if you are caught, yes, this could potentially get you fired. But I also have a workbook that walks you through, if you want to go through the secure and approved route, I actually walk you through how to go through and get approved from your security team with diagrams, email templates, and actually how to communicate this and how long from your trip you should be communicating this. So this is not an overnight thing. If you want to get approval for working remotely, it probably will take about 3 to 6 months. So I have actual workbooks that walk you through that. So also about the Starlink, I actually utilize Starlink. So I'm currently in the Dominican Republic. I have a Starlink network. However, Starlink also shows your IP address and where your location is at from where you're connecting. So just utilizing Starlink does not allow you to connect to a corporate's network. You still need a solution like a VPN or the exit nodes that I'm proposing.
FatBoy Travels, without getting too technical, how does the GLI net actually change the security footprint so it doesn't compare to what you would have through like a laptop VPN? What is the difference between having that little box and the VPN, and what are the unique things about it?
Well, the router itself, I prefer the router because of the simple nature of it. The dashboard is very intuitive. I feel it's very simple. So what it does is it allows you to connect to VPNs, or it comes actually with a Tailscale application on it. So all GLI networks in their software, they have Tailscale on the dashboard, which allows you to utilize the GUI to set it up very simply. So that's another thing. Not all routers have the tail skill on them. So having that already there allows you to set it up simply. It allows you to connect directly to the router and have the router do the hard work of connecting to different IP addresses. So when you're traveling, the only thing you need to connect to with your devices is just the router. Once you set up the router properly, you do not need to connect your devices to the local Wi-Fi at all.
And so I know someone said in the comments that, you know, the correct way is to allow you to work get a job that lets you do that. That's not the problem. I'm going to tell you, my job, we have people from all over the world that work. We got the people, we call them offshore workers. So it's not the issue of you working somewhere else in the world. The problem they have is HR has the issue when it comes to doing the taxes. Because if you're working somewhere else, even in another state, if you are working in another state, in Texas, we don't have state taxes. If you start working somewhere else, they say, well, when you're working there, why aren't we taking out taxes? Then you start moving across the world somewhere. And they say, wait, hold up. The tax structure is entirely different. The laws are entirely different. I'm going to tell you even this. There's certain places in certain countries that, like your Microsoft, what is it? Microsoft 360, your Copilot, some of those things, they don't send over there and they can't be used there. So that's really issue comes in at. So it's not always like, does my job allow me? It's just tax structure, security structure. Those are the things that prevent. So even when we have people that are offshore, we ship a whole laptop there and we set it up so that we have certain security things. Even on my phone, my work phone, we put security agents in that prevent it. So that's where the problem comes in at, is not that, oh, can I? Yeah, you can. But sometimes what gets you in trouble is, how did they get Al Capone? Taxes. That's what it's always.
Not only taxes, but there's also import-export laws.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take a laptop over to another country, you can be flagged in the actual country and they can take and confiscate your laptop. So those are also things that you need to worry about or be concerned with. So you need to understand what country you're going to. Do they have your import-export laws? You also have to be intentional about your architecture in terms of setting a solution up so that you can connect. So there's a lot of different things that go in play when you look at this and whether or not you want to go through the secure and asking approval route, or do you want to go the undetected route?
Right. Now, let me say this real quick. I'm the biggest guy when it comes to security, and I know you guys as cybersecurity specialists and everything else. I get what you're trying to say, Danny. That's outside of the point, and I just want to address that. We know that you should be asking your company if you could work abroad as a digital nomad and the role that you're taking as an employee of that company. We understand this, okay? But still, people want to have a right to live.
Yeah. And the higher you go up, I know he says depends on your role. The higher you go up, the more difficult it is.
Yeah.
If you just a person, you know, you just and not to say anything about a contractor, you just like a contractor that we use for 6 months. It's like you're just there for that role. The higher you go up, the harder it is, the more difficult, because now your time is looked at different. It's scrutinized entirely different.
Yeah. I also want to say in the books, I have a disclaimer. I do not advocate for anything legal or any illegal activity. I do not advocate for you to go around tax laws or anything like that. So that is not what I'm advocating. But what I am advocating, I am a remote work advocate. So I do advocate for knowledge workers who do not need to have a physical presence to be able to work where they want to have the freedom to do so. So the information that I provide you is for how can I do that given my circumstance or given my situation?
And my thing is, if you explain this to the company they're asking permission, maybe they are not so in depth on cybersecurity, but you break this down and how you're setting up the network so that you can remote work. Maybe they change their mind because they see how knowledgeable you are. They can work with your tech. You can work with the tech department and get that straight to where it doesn't endanger whatever sensitive material you're dealing with within that company.
Yeah. So like I said, in the workbook, I actually lay out how to address the architecture with your security teams. So how to tell them that you are using a single use IP. So you're not using a shared block of IPs that may be blocked. You can change your location with the IP addresses as well. So if you want to log in from New York City or you want to log in from Atlanta, you have that optionality as well. So I walk you through how to address it and how to do it. Now, will not guarantee. Yeah, there is. I don't want to say that, throw that out there too, that things will be guaranteed that you will be approved. So I don't want to throw that out there. There's always the chance that, they may still say no if you go the approved route, but you have to understand that this is what you're facing.
I definitely want to chime in on something real quick. I had the privilege to, I have the privilege to know Marcus for quite a while, over 10 years. We met overseas in Colombia and DR a couple of times. So he's definitely a man of receipts. I'm all about receipts. This man's been doing it for quite a while. He's been working remotely for a very long time. So he's speaking the truth here. One thing I want to say, I want to make it clear is that I've known a lot of guys over the past 10 years try to go overseas without the proper equipment in place, get caught, lose their six-figure jobs just like that. And I understand there's a lot of people out here on social media talking about you could get a job remotely. That's not as easy as it is. If you have one, follow, take all the precaution measures to protect your job, especially in this current market. So again, take notes and listen to what this man has to say, because really I've seen men lose their jobs doing stuff that's completely stupid, not preparing themselves to go overseas and do things on the slick side. Now, yes, I do advise that you speak to your employer first before you decide to take an action. But again, there's ways to work around it, because even with my company, we have people from all over the world. So it's doable, but just make sure you take all the proper steps.
Yeah.
And if you get a chance, Ronin, if you could share.
I'm ready. Yeah, I can share the screen now. You ready?
It's not a shift. I know we're talking a shift. I know we're talking about work, but I want to set this up to show you. This is a video I made, and sometimes you guys think it's always about work, but I traveled somewhere, and I needed access to my bank accounts. I needed access to my health savings account because I was overseas and I didn't want to pay out of pocket. I wanted to be able to transfer money and get in and put in my receipts. So this is about 2 minutes long, the video I made. I think I put it in the back chat, if that. But this is what happened to me. Close the laptop. Step into paradise. Stay connected without explaining anything to anybody. I am currently out of the country. I had some dental work done. I also had some home physical, and I wanted to pay with my HSA, my health savings account. I tried to log on, and look what happened. I am blocked. Has this ever happened to you when you're out of the country? So what I'm going to do is, I got a travel router. So I'm going to hook up my travel router. My travel router will show that I am actually in the United States at home. So let's see how this works. As you can see, it says that I am blocked right now. And let's go to where my IP address is. You see my IP address here? It is Santiago, Dominican Republic. And that shows my IP address. So let's see if I can get on by connecting to my travel router. Give me a moment. I'm going to connect to my travel router. Connected. Let's go to the travel router. Right. It changes. I'm trying to look for the Wi-Fi that is in the Airbnb that I'm at. All right, let's put in this password for this place.
Yeah, show us your password.
As you can see, I'm connected to Guest, which is the Wi-Fi of my Airbnb. Now let's see if I
That's
can
their
get in
password. I don't
here.
care.
I'm in. But one thing we want to check. Let's make sure. Let's find out what my IP address is.
I'm sure you are.
As you can see here, where am I at? I'm no longer in the Dominican Republic. I am in Texas, McKinney, Texas. So if you ever had trouble, just like I had, you can't get into your bank, you can't get into certain accounts, you can't do anything. And you want your job to know, think that you're still in the country when you're enjoying the beautiful island weather. The beach is right out here that I'm about to go to once I put my information in, and no one knows the wiser. My travel router in action, working. All right.
So that's just one I wanted to show you guys that sometimes it's not always about work. Sometimes it's your banking account, your private information. Maybe you want to watch certain movies that you can't watch, while you're out of the country, or you want access to certain things you can't get access to. I know a lot of banks, just because of the phishing and because of the spam and things that go on, a lot of banks, when they see an IP from a different country, they just shut it down. So you're somewhere and you have access to your laptop, you have access to the internet, and you may have money in your savings account. You got to move it to your checking account because you need to go to the ATM machine, or you need to do something like that. And they block those IP addresses because it seems suspicious that you're trying to get into a bank from another country. So that's why this is also needed. So don't think, oh man, I'm just trying to work and get away. There's other things that it can be used for.
Absolutely. So there is a website. I saw a comment there. So if you just go to Google Travel, go to Google, look up FatBoy Travels LLC. You'll see my website. There's also merchandise on there you can buy and get a nice T-shirt or something like that. Also, the books are available on Amazon, so you can go to Amazon and buy the Kindle version. And then also on Gumroad, if you go to just look up FatBoy Travels on Gumroad, there's a suite of products as well, from the workbook and the step-by-step guide. Actually, if you buy the book, there's a 20% off coupon in the book as well for the products at Gumroad.
What I also want to talk about is, as you can see, I'm a casual traveler, and most of the people, me and Kanal, would be casual travelers, where Marcus and Ronin are more lifestyle travelers.
My name is Ronin. Okay, good.
Are lifestyle travelers. So for me, mine works because I just may need a few extra days on my trip. I might leave on a Friday and don't want to come back on Sunday. I might want to come back on a Tuesday. And I have access to the hotel Wi-Fi, or I want to use the coffee shops while I'm out. And I don't want that exposure. Where they would want a stable setup. They want a predictable footprint. And they want to lower their risk because they planned it out. So they're more intentional, and the more intentional you are, the less visible you become. So tell the difference how this works out if you are that digital nomad that is staying longer than one day or one weekend or a few more days over there. How does your process help people stay a lot longer? Especially because even though you're a digital nomad, a lot of people ain't opening banks over in Colombia or maybe DR. They still have their banking, especially vets. I know a gentleman who is in Dominican Republic now, and this is what he does. Man, maybe I should. Well, nobody knows who he is. I can say what he does. He gets a retirement plan. They won't send his retirement check to another country to deposit. So his retirement check, he has it actually deposited in, I think, Florida, because Florida doesn't have state taxes. And then he has to always connect to the Florida bank account in order to get his money, whether it's Western Union, whether it's Remedy, to get his money sent to him. And so he always has to have some type of connection to do that. So tell us the difference. With me, my travel router is fine because I'm a weekend warrior.
Mhm.
How does yours work for the person who is located there? You know, like I said, he's there. If he can't get a hold of his bank, he basically doesn't have any money. He has to try to find a flight to get back. So how does that help those people out?
So again, so in a situation like that where you're traveling for months at a time, this solution can be set up while you're actually traveling. I've set this up while I was actually traveling and actually looked into it. So you're not dependent upon someone, like I said, who may not be there. Also, there are people who may not have a physical address in the United States to actually have this. So being able to set up a network or infrastructure where you can actually remote into with a US IP to those services and not have to travel back to the United States or the cost incurred by buying a ticket and only being there for a weekend and coming back to do some business. That saves you time right there. And like I said, for as little as $4 a month, you can have an exit node set up. And the way it's set up in such a way that, let's say the exit node goes down, all right? You're going through a data center and the exit node goes down. Okay. The traffic doesn't leak out and you still get exposed. It just stops in the tail scale or in the tailnet until you set up another exit node or you reboot the exit node that you have. So it doesn't leak out. So it doesn't automatically show where you're at or connect as long as you set it up properly. So, this is a solution where, it works for the majority of companies out there. Like I said, nothing is 100%, especially when you're dealing with cybersecurity, and it all depends upon your company and how they set things up. But from the use cases I've seen, this covers about 80 to 85% of the companies out there.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And I want you guys to really be careful with that. I know you go, I've seen it, and I'm in cyber. Man, I'm trying to think where I was at. And it kept saying, like somebody is trying to get in. I have an MFA on my, like through my phone or through a setup.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody was trying to penetrate to get into my accounts. I'm like, damn. So you got to be real careful on that. I'm going to tell you a quick story, 2 stories. I got some ruthless friends. They ruthless, but they don't do the bad stuff. But they do it for a simple demonstration. 2 stories. One, on an airplane, they set up a Raspberry Pi so that, if your telephone, this is important, guys. Your telephone is always searching for a Wi-Fi. It's always. If it's not like an airplane mode, it's searching for it. And he just set up his Raspberry Pi, he put in the overhead projector, and everybody who had a phone, they start collecting all their information. When he got off the phone, he had everybody able to get in. He could break into everything. Also, when you're out of town, because I've done it, this is why it's important to even have your travel router or set up like him, because I'm sure the way you have your setup, that you don't actually need your laptop. You can probably get it from your telephone. Am I correct?
Absolutely. You can set it up on any device that
Yep.
can download the Tailscale app. You can set it up. You can set it up on your phone. Have your phone look like you're paying from the United States as well.
What do everyone look for when you're out of town? That free Wi-Fi. You're looking for something that says free
Don't do it.
Wi-Fi, free hotel. And I've seen people where they set it up and it'll say, what Marriott free hotel. Because you can name, you don't understand. You can name your spam whatever you want to, and people will connect to it. And when you connect to it, what do you went to? You went to your bank. They doing key loggers when they know every key that you just put in, every place you just went. And by the time, before you even ended your phone call, they done wiped everything out. So you have to be careful connecting to those type of Wi-Fis that you think are free, and you're just doing it on your phone and you putting in sensitive information and things like that. So using something, as this gentleman says, protects you, because now you're bouncing it off. You're not going directly through their information. And if you want to explain that,
Mhm.
give the guys a little heads up on why they shouldn't be using those public Wi-Fi's that are free, and they don't know where it is.
So GLINet sells small little travel routers, small enough to fit in your pocket. And you can take those with you and connect through your Wi-Fi through the GLINet. And you can put Tailscale on that as well to connect through that if you want. That gives you a little bit more protection in terms of connecting to the coffee shop Wi-Fi that you think is safe, or the Marriott Wi-Fi that you think is safe. Now your traffic bounces off and it looks different, right? So now you have your own protected network with a single use IP that you can change at any point in time. And it's not a block of shared IPs like a commercial VPN.
It's this one on the right. It's the one you're talking about, right? Looks like a little.
That one, yeah, that one. You have the other two next to them, those as well. You can connect those to, carry them in your pocket, connect those to your to coffee shop Wi-Fi, and have it go through your telnet as well.
Because guys, I have here. I think mine is upstairs. This is just my little travel case. Little travel case here. It has the power, the wire, and everything just set up. I throw that in the backpack, and anywhere I go, it's here. And there's also a hack, and I think I'm gonna do a video on it. But there's a hack when you're on the cruise ships. You know, cruise ships taxing you to use that IP address. And there's some hacks you can use to actually, well, a few hacks. And I won't say too much because I'm gonna make a video on it. But whenever you're on a cruise ship, me and my wife cruise a lot, and you buy the IP package, both people can't be on. I have to shut it off. Then she has to get on. You know, she wants to load up some content. Then I have to shut it off. She shuts it off. So there's ways that you can set that up. So one, you both can be on Wi-Fi, and two, you can set up so you can get some. You're not paying that absorbent amount when you have to do when you want to be on a ship, a cruise ship out to sea, and still take advantage of.
You pay for one exit or one device, and you connect your router through that device, and you connect everything through the router, and you all share the same Wi-Fi.
So Charlie, one thing wrong with the VPN, and it can work. Sometimes what happens is, with my job, you can't go VPN to VPN. That's the difficult part. And even with NordVPN, there's limitations that it has. You can put certain places, but you might not always be in the, you know, I think with NordVPN, I used it a few times, but it's like maybe you can pick the city, or it's not always the same place. It becomes very random.
Yeah, it depends on if you're using WireGuard or OpenVPN. What I found out is WireGuard, you can pick your location. OpenVPN is just whatever's available when you set it up.
Yeah, with Nord, I jump back and forth between the Philippines, Houston, and Kansas City. Depending on what I'm doing, I'll jump servers based on what I'm doing. But what I wanted to ask you is, when I first got this thing, it said I could load NordVPN on this as a redundant, like, firewall. You can set this up as a firewall type of situation where everything, you log into your hotel network and this, then you can use NordVPN or whatever to your router, your Wi-Fi device or whatever, and change locations. What is that about? If you don't need NordVPN, why would they ask you to put that on here?
Well, you can use NordVPN, you can use ExpressVPN or any other commercial VPN, as long as they have the WireGuard or OpenVPN set up. Because sometimes when you download the OpenVPN, the way it's set up, you need their special security credentials to get access to it. So whatever VPN, commercial VPN you use, you have to get those special access credentials in order to use them.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And I know the difficult time that I had setting mine up, and I kind of went over this before, was Spectrum. You have to do port forwarding. And when you get the instructions on this, it's not going to tell you about port forwarding. So there's some gotchas that happen. Do you cover some of the gotchas that people might run into, that they just, you know, you say, oh, this worked out great for me? Because that's what I hate. I hate when I watch a YouTube video and I was like, well, it worked out perfect for him. And he didn't explain, oh, you didn't do this, or I had to do this. Do you help people out with the gotchas?
Yes, actually, in nearing the completion of my book, I was walking through the that situation I discussed earlier with that person. I actually found a couple gotchas on setting it up, such as the port forwarding and things like that. So, like I said, I have two different ways of setting it up: straight through the dashboard for a non-technical person, but also if you're a little bit more technical and know the command line, I actually walk you through how to set it up on the command line as well, and do some of the port forwarding and some of the designated exit nodes on command line as well. So I do walk you through that. Also, how to SSH into the VPS and do some things like that.
And I want to show. Let me see if I can.
FatBoy Travels, while he does that, can you in the private chat drop a link?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm
I'm gonna share this. I want to help my man out before he drops that.
Can you drop in the private chat your link for if you wanted to set up a consultation with you to talk about?
Well, you can just. I'm trying to see if I can. If there's a chat button. I have an email that you can send to if you want.
Okay, drop it in. Is it the same one you sent me before?
Yeah, the same one.
Okay, I'll drop that.
LC@gmail.com. You can reach out to me, send me an email there. I'll get it. I'll respond back. Try to respond back to everyone as soon as possible. It may take a day or so, but I try to check it regularly.
If you share this, I just want to show guys what you're getting from this young man compared to what is out there. What made me start doing it was I seen this advertisement, and I was like, oh man, this company is called Keep Your Home IP Address. And I was like, now they're charging $468. They're charging mostly for a router that you can get for $60. So I was like, well, the router was only like, say it was $50. I was like, that's $100. What am I paying this other $300 and something for? And that's just for them to come in and tell you how to set it up. That's it. And then they got a subscription, and even on top of that, they want you to pay these subscriptions, which you're still paying for them to, I don't know what it is, for them to just say, hey, if something goes wrong, oh yeah, we get a 2-hour ticket response. So if something goes wrong, you just gotta access it. Where a lot of times, if you just take the time to do it yourself, it's already set up. You're already there. So in my opinion, I was like, man, I'm not paying $500 for this router. I can buy the router, I can get it on Amazon. It's my router. I don't have to worry about their subscription. I'm already paying a subscription to my internet provider. So why am I going to do this over and beyond? So
here's the thing about it. I actually bought that subscription, the $468 to see it. I just never set it up, but I have it in a box and I have the two routers. They still do a site-to-site residential address, so they're doing nothing different than
what I did.
Yeah, going on YouTube and watching a 10-minute video, and they're just saying we're there for support. But there is nothing different than what you can find out. It's you still run into the same issues of what if the router goes down? What if nobody's home? What if I don't have an address to have it? So you still run into the same issues we talked about earlier. That's why what I'm proposing is different, where you don't need to depend on someone being at home in order for it to work.
Yeah, I think that's it. My thing was when I wrote mine, I found out all the gotchas. And I think like what Marcus did, when you have someone who has been through it, they set it up themselves, they've gone through the process, they're able to say, hey, this is what I found was the wrong part, because everyone on the internet, they're making that 5-minute video, which sounds great. It works. But they never answer the questions that people that people ask. And I think this is what really helps people out. And guys, let me let you know, you see what's going on in the world today. You see what's transpiring. Sometimes, I love the United States, but I want you to keep this in mind. There's global instability. Borders, they close real fast. Economics, they shift real fast. Physical mobility, that can disappear overnight. I know, and you can't just say, "Oh, I'm an American citizen." I know people. It was asking my wife, "Oh, we're glad that you weren't out of town," because they had some people who traveled to like Turks and Caicos, and the ABC Islands when that was going on with Venezuela, and they shut the airport down. So those people were like, "Oh, I'm getting back." Oh no, they weren't getting back. Some of them couldn't connect. So what happens when you got to stay somewhere and your credit card is asking, "Where's your place at?" or you can't use something. So digital mobility is slower to shut down if you protect it. So you don't prepare. This is the thing, guys. You don't prepare when things collapse. You prepare before that. Just like in Venezuela, we didn't just go in that day. That was prepared months ahead. And so the future is for those people who prepare for this, who make sure that they're stressed. You get overseas and all of a sudden you can't get to your bank account. Well, and you hoping that's when you find out who your friends are. Like who gonna send you that Western Union money, put some money in your bank account, and you call up everybody. I call up Ronin and be like, "Bro, can you loan me some money?" And all I hear is it's bad connection, I can't connect. It's 12 hours different. Click. You don't hear nothing, and you stuck over there. What you gonna do? Canal, I got the kids with me. I can't do
Come on,
nothing.
man. You can get on the internet and start e-begging like Jay Rillo and NYC the future. Don't you know?
Yeah. So unless you're a great e-beggar and you can get all the money from your clients, it's best to always have a backup plan. And this is your backup plan. Because what do we want to do? We love to travel. We love to go places. And the reason I even got into IT was this. The job that I had before, there was no way that I could go out of the country and stay longer. I had a limited amount of time with vacations, with certain things. And I said, if there was a way, what always limits us is income. That what is always what limits how we travel. And I said, if I could make the same amount of money that I make in the United States somewhere else, oh man, I would enjoy it. I would love to do this. And a lot of guys, if you can get that type of job, even if you're not trying to ball, you say, look, I'm just trying to go out for 2 weeks out the month. I'm trying to live in this studio apartment and I'm trying to live like a king. I know a guy that used to mow lawns from April to like October. He would do a lawn service. He saved his money and then he spent the other 6 months out of the country. So these are the things you need to think about when you want to live like a king or live somewhere else or just enjoy life. This can extend that for you, but safely. And the worst thing to happen is to go overseas, not use something like a travel router, and all of a sudden you start getting these signals on your phone like, did you authorize this $3,000 check to somewhere else? And somebody's gonna use your credit card for something, your ATM for something, and you don't have nothing and you can't get back. So these are things that you really need to think about. And this is how this gentleman is really helping you.
Can you run back real quick? Obviously, a lot of people have NordVPN or some kind of VPN on their phone. What is the proper procedure and steps to make sure that VPN that's on your phone, whether it be Nord or somebody else's, is active when you're in maybe an airport or something like that, so you're not having people access your information by digital scanning or capturing RID or whatever?
So there's multiple ways you can do that. So with NordVPN, if you have the actual app on your phone, you can just turn it on and you can, and it'll send it through, a traditional NordVPN or ExpressVPN or, any VPN service. However, if you have taken a step further, you carry your own personal private router and you connect directly to that private router and you have that router connect to the Wi-Fi or internet or wherever you're at. That gives you a little bit more security in terms of connecting. And you can actually have the VPN on that router, like GLINet, where you connect through the router connects through the VPN, and then that VPN connects to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I've seen personal routers. I had one on my list for affiliate links, and I think I dropped it off. But it's a small little pocket thing. It's a little bitty. You actually can plug it into like a port on your laptop. I think it's a USB-C port or something like that. You can plug it in and you're straight.
You can also do tethering. You can tether your phone from your laptop to your phone and have that connect through the VPN as well. If you have that.
Kunal knows about tethering.
Oh, Jesus.
That was a little joke I had to throw in, man.
Yeah.
I had to wake you up over there, you know.
No, I'm listening. My little one's right next to me.
Yeah, so I just want to throw out. So I saw you put my email in there. It's missing a T. So FatBoy.
Oh, okay, let me go back and fix that again. I'll go back and fix it.
Also, guys, make sure that you maybe get the right kind of wallet. I don't think it happens. I've seen it really happen in Europe. You know, you have your chip on your credit card, and all you have to do is touch, and all of a sudden there's boom, touches it, and you got a charge. And there's people that walk through and start scanning for those. So you're basically have your wallet in your back pocket, and imagine somebody just bumps into you, and all of a sudden they just scanned and got all your stuff. So make sure you even get a wallet that is protective for you, because if not, you can be like, man, I still got my wallet. I still have my credit cards. Someone
RFID wallets, the protectors.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Actually, my wife just got me one for
man, that's perfect.
Yeah, so I got one.
Yeah, I've been running with RFID for about 5 years now. Because I know about those digital scanners. You can pick up everything.
Yep. And
is that right? Is that email correct, FatBoy Travels? I want to make sure I get a hold.
And here's the thing. I always have, I know we're going off a little bit, but I just want to protect you guys who travel. And maybe I'll tell you what, maybe I can look for this real quick, and then maybe this guy will explain. And we can do that.
Yeah. So on that topic with the wallet, I have my Capital One. So I have a Capital One card that actually every time a transaction goes through, it sends me a notification.
That's exactly what I was going to tell him.
So, so if something goes through, I automatically get a notification. So if it's fraud or whatever, I can go in and lock my card from the app as well.
Did you see what GPIT? I think it's GPIT? Because you run in the DR too, so
yeah,
that was more up your alley. I have a fiber link out here in the DR, and that is connected to my router and my malware VPN.
Yeah. So I have Starlink. Just where I'm at, Starlink is the best internet that's available. Yeah, you can definitely run it through your router, but with your VPN, if you're connecting through to the States or someone in the States, sometimes it does work depending on the security layer of that company or organization. But a lot of times what happens is organizations, depending on their level of security, they block out blocks of IP addresses from VPNs. For example, with NordVPN, a lot of companies contract out a sub company that provides them the list of VPNs that NordVPN uses. So they block them all. So anything falls within that VPN range and that IP range, they block them all. So it's not just NordVPN, it's also other commercial VPNs. That's why when you're using commercial VPNs, sometimes they'll let you through, but sometimes they won't. So that's why I say it's never 100% when dealing with corporations, because a corporation, their security team will never tell you exactly 100% what they're doing. They'll tell you, here's the rules and regulations, but they won't tell you that they're blocking certain IPs. They won't tell you this is the service we use. So you have to kind of identify based on what they tell you in the rules, what they're actually doing. So I go through that in my books as well with the foundation, where it gives you an idea of, am I working with a SOC level 1 or 2 organization, and are they doing 3 SOC level 2 or 3, and what are the likely architectures that I can use to prevent being flagged.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to share this because guys, beware of this. And I know a lot of you guys are lackadaisical, and some of you don't know the conversion rates. If you want to share it, I want to show what happened to this gentleman. This is in Noah's favorite spot. He's over in the.
Run down the sample.
I don't even have a sound. That's not me. I don't have no sound. No, that was,
That's
I played another. I'm sorry. I know what it did. Doing another video.
Oh,
What if I told
I don't. It threw in another video than the one I had. Oh, give me a second, brother.
and you trying to get me demonetized? And what's she doing, bro? What's she doing? Get,
I don't know what the hell happened. It threw in another video.
yo, man, you watching some
Here it
wild
goes.
shit over there? You telling on
No.
yourself?
Nah,
You ready?
Here it goes.
All right, we clear now. Can I bring it up again?
Yeah, bring it up. Bring it up. It should have just been pressing play on there, but you know, that's YouTube.
What just happened? Me and my friend ordered some hamburgers for 15 Brazilian real, and that's like €1 per hamburger. So we thought, yeah, that's a good deal. Let's do it. And when we had to pay, they came with a cash machine, and we paid by credit card. And luckily, my friend got the notification straight away when he.
I want you to hear that. My friend got the notification straight away. They paid for some hamburgers on the beach, and thought the guy said, "Oh, the hamburgers are $1." And as soon as he paid, this is why you guys gotta set up notifications on your phone.
Paid, and he received a notification of €1,600. €1,600. So we.
A hamburger that cost $1, they would charge him $1,600 for that hamburger.
Saw that, and immediately we stood up and we confronted them, and yeah, you saw what happened. But so people, please be careful if you go here to Ipanema in Rio de Janeiro, or I think Copacabana is the same.
That happened
Be
to me
careful when you
actually.
pay with your credit card, because they just type in a higher number as you agreed on. So
think he showed his little
€1,600
scrap.
instead of €3 for 3 burgers.
Hey guys,
Please, people,
this
be
actually
careful.
happened to
Be
me.
careful here. This is also Rio de Janeiro. This is also Brazil. Watch out, guys. So I don't know if you can see it, but this is the aftermath.
Yeah, so he got into the fight. So they were sitting on the beach. They went to pay. And so the friend gets it like, hold up. What do you mean? Them dudes, you know, them Germans, man, they don't play that. They start going off.
You know what? In 2017, that actually happened to me in Rio, and I was eating at one of those restaurants right there off of the Atlantic Avenue, and I ordered something small. Next, 30 minutes later, I get a text message saying that my account has been withdrawn for about $700.
Damn.
And it was a credit card. Yeah, it was a credit card. And while I'm still trying to figure out what's going on because I didn't have Wi-Fi again. This is 2017 when this happened. By the time I was able to get access, they were able to take out $2,000 out.
Damn.
Just like that within 3 hours. And that was a lesson learned for me, to never ever use credit cards when I'm overseas, especially the little small restaurants. And yeah, that happened to me. They actually took my card to the back, because normally they'll bring the machine out so you can use your card. But for some reason, I had a few drinks. I didn't think about it. So they took my card and went to the back. Next thing you know, literally 30 minutes later, I'm getting all these notifications on my phone. Again, this is 2017, telling me that this is being transaction in my account. And I had to literally put a pause on it. But the good thing is I was able to get the money back, but it took about 2 months to get the money back.
But here's what they say. Like somebody says, here's a tip, use cash on the beach.
Yeah.
No. I disagree. You know why I disagree? I don't take my debit cards with me. I take my credit card. You know why? Because my credit card is protected with insurance. They can go out and do it. All I do is notify the credit card company of what happened. This happened to me when I was in Colombia. I'm gonna tell you what happened. I was in Colombia, and then I'm coming back. And as I'm on the plane, I get on the plane and I get notification. This transaction to such and such was denied. I'm like, I ain't even use that card. This is what they did. because I start, when you go back and you see where the transaction was, I went back and I was like, somebody took my card, and usually I don't do it. I like to pay right there. They took the card, I guess took a picture and then put it on their iPhone, because it gave the name of their iPhone. And so they didn't need the card. They got the information loaded up to their iPhone. So when they paid, they would pay with their iPhone. And so, the first transaction was like, it was $2 at KFC. And then they wanted to buy some shoes or something. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it is. But when you use your credit card, you say, look, man, I've been a fraud.
Yeah.
My credit card company, what they do is they give the money right back immediately. And then there's the investigation. And then when they say, hey, it's resolved, you got your money.
I just want to clarify something. That it wasn't my debit card. It was my credit card. Now, granted, I put alert on my, typically when I travel, I always put alert on all my credit cards that I'm taking overseas. But again, I think it happened so fast, and I was drinking, and again, I was having a good time, 2017 in Rio, that it just happened so quick. But again, the good thing is we caught it within 3 hours, and I was able to get the money back. But again, I used my credit card. Never use your debit card overseas. Use your credit card, and yeah, make sure you contact the credit cards. Let them know that you're going to be overseas, and anything that spends over $50 or $100, flag it and go from there.
That's why I said your phone was cloned. No, they don't need the phone to clone. You have Samsung Pay, iPhone Pay. Whenever you load up your information to iPhone Pay, I don't know why this particular, and I called, and I don't want to put them out there, but I guess it's Bank of America.
What do you mean?
Bad.
Western Union was a crappy bank too. I put that shit all over.
Crappy, because the first thing I said was to him, I said, anytime I have Samsung Pay on my phone, anytime I try to set it up, there's security that I have to go through in order to do it. Like, it's like I just can't put it on. I have to use security. I have to use this, and this just to set up the credit card on my phone. And I asked them, I said, how was the person able to do this without giving me any type of alerts? I mean, they were just like, oh, well, that's just how we did it. And, and I said, I mean, it's fine with me. Y'all taking care of it. But, some credit cards are more secure than others.
Yeah.
They were not secure. They didn't have a back wall. So it was almost like anybody who had access to your credit card could set that up.
So there are a few questions or a few comments I'd like to address in the chat that I'm seeing. One, what happens if the companies buy my books? So that is already taken care of, right? So with the ASN notifications, it comes through as a data center. So you come through as a data center. Companies can't block data centers because they actually subscribe to services, a lot of them, that their ASN gets notified as a data center. So if they block all data centers, then they won't be able to access their services. So more than likely they won't block it, even though they know what's going through. They would have to change the entire internet infrastructure to do that. Two, the VPN allows you to generate good SOC team looks deeper. Yes. So a good SOC team does look deeper at TLS fingerprints and mismatches. They also look at behavioral analysis. When are you logging in? How often are you logging in? Are you logging in during off hours and things like that? So I also address that in the books in terms of having a consistent behavior, a pattern of behavior to prevent any unnecessary actions that would cause them to be suspicious. So if you set it up prior to you leaving, going overseas, and you always log in for your router, and you always log in at the same time and log out at the same time, you're less likely to be flagged on one of those behavioral analysis.
Don't be on the side of the world like me, 13, 15 hours ahead of normal time in America, and think you don't need to log in at the right times.
That's one of the overlooked things that a lot of people don't realize, that when you're offset of your hours. So if you work in Eastern, but you're in Africa and they're offset, you got to make sure you're logging in and working when you're supposed to be working on Eastern time. So a lot of people don't realize that. Then they start logging in during weird hours, and then
midnight, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
Absolutely.
Someone said, why would you pay the interest of a credit card when the PayPal and Apple
We need
Pay?
to do a finance thing, man. We need to
are
do a
the same as
fan
cash.
credits. We need to do a
Yeah, I
credit.
don't do
and
that. All I
point
know is this.
stuff.
Two things I know. Your debit card is not protected. If you have so much money in your debit card and somebody gets access to it and takes all your money, that's it. They got your money. Your credit cards are protected. Another thing is I like to use the receipts and get as many points as I can. That's why I use my credit cards. And you know how many times a lot of y'all sit y'all look, I don't know where y'all go, and I don't know if y'all think these people are stupid. You and DR, I'm gonna tell you, DR, look, when my wife came here, we went to go get her a plan. And the first thing they said was, yeah, we can't put no plan on your phone. She's like, why not? She's like, your phone is stolen. It's like, what? So in DR, all the time people get these phones here, either they report them stolen or they steal them and take them there. And you think your phone, you think nobody can break in your phone? Man, a dude, I had a phone that was messed up. Dude was like, I'll be right back. He went upstairs. He came back downstairs, 10 minutes. The pin, everything was already, he did the jailbreak on my phone. So when you see those guys get robbed, and you're like, man, how did you take $1 million in Bitcoin? That's because somebody got a hold of their phone and you think it can't be broken. And they, in 10 minutes, they done had all that information. So I don't like to keep my credit cards and things on my phone to scan with, because somebody can take my phone and start scanning. So I know it seems safe, but you know, that's just the thing to me that it
Some
worries.
of them Bitcoin wallets can be hacked. I got hacked off of a Bitcoin wallet. What the hell? You know, they're supposed to be secure. But can you answer this question, since you're the SaaS guy? There was a question or statement there.
What, the first one, data center IPs?
Yeah.
Data center IPs aren't blocked, however, it's now flagged. So yes, like I said, that they would have to block all data center IPs. So it depends on the level of security of your actual company. The higher up security they are. So if you're a SOC 3, then yeah, it's a likelihood that you could be a flag. However, usually your SOC level 1 and 2s, this is a good enough solution, and sometimes a 3, it's good enough solution. Also, if you have a laptop that has GPS enabled on this will not work. So you have to look for something like a KVM as well. So there are, so I address that in my books as well. So there are certain circumstances where this won't work. So you have to look at and really identify what level of security your organization is based on the rules and things like that, and your best judgment.
Now, guys, let me say this real quick. We said this earlier. A lot of guys are coming in a little late. Nobody's telling you to circumvent your company's policies of security. We always say that you should be asking for permission and not sneaking around doing these things. The fact that you have the knowledge in order to make sure that the company knows that their network is secure, whether you're working in a digital nomad option or you're asking for that option, you know, as long as they know you know what you're doing and you're working closely with the tech department, maybe they let you do it. But we always say ask first. We're not telling you to circumvent the system on purpose. You get what I'm saying? We're not encouraging that. So I know you guys are coming up with all these hypotheticals and the things that, you know, are being blocked or monitored. Yeah, we know that. And that's not his intent with these books or telling you how to do things. He's teaching people how to do it properly, securely, and a certain process in order to make sure those networks stay secure and educate you on them. It's not to circumvent anybody's company policy against working overseas. Okay, that's not our intent of this show. But
this is to keep you safe. So if you are working somewhere else, that you can get in. Look, there's always going to be a way to circumvent everything, even in the highest companies with the most secure. If they can break into DOJ and DOD, believe me, brother, you can get broken into. So this is, usually companies aren't looking for that. They're just looking for the surface level. Unless you did something crazy, that's when the investigation starts going up. But we have 100,000 or say 50,000 people they're monitoring for just the first level. You know, are we whitelisting this to make sure this doesn't get in? Are we looking for this? These are the things that are spending 95% of cyber's day. You know, just those things. It's maybe when an investigation comes and they can look further in. But this is just to protect you from that and to protect you. So it's
the number one thing to prevent a lot of things from happening or prevent you from being flagged is your consistency of your work and the level of your work. If you're a good employee and you're consistent with logging in and doing things and they don't have any reason to suspect you, then more than likely this will work, right? Again, depending on the level of your security. However, you know, if you're logging in and off hours and your work isn't up par, they will find a reason or excuse to flag you and move on from you. So I always say, you know, your consistency and your level of work and your due diligence is what's most important in any solution.
correct. And how our company works is, like I said, we use Zscaler. So all it does is my computer, whatever that IP address, goes into their VPN, and those VPNs are whitelisted, and that's how we get in. So it doesn't matter what in a sense, what my home VPN is. You know, as long as I have my work laptop. But what they do flag is if your home IP is somewhere, a restricted country, you're showing that you're out of the country. And that's more becomes for security risk and tax purposes. But a lot of guys, you guys want to work remote. You guys want to travel. You want to be able to do it. You say, hey, I got this remote job. This is a way that you can make sure. And I would never tell anybody, look, and a lot of guys, this is what you guys do. You guys go read the book, and then you're like, I'm gone. Nothing else. Take a vacation, man. Take a vacation. Go over the weekend, go on a Friday to a Sunday, and try it out first. See if you can actually, if it works.
Buy the books too, by the way.
Yes,
Amazon.
Go through it, and not even that. You know what I did before I left out of the country? I left and went to just another coffee shop. Like when I traveled, I went somewhere else that was not in my home to say, does this work? Can I set up my travel router when I'm just at the coffee shop down the street? What IP address does it give? What location? Does it give me another city? So you guys go gung-ho, and this is what you say where I fail, you'll say that FatBoy fails, is you get this little information, you don't read all the cliff notes, you go somewhere and try and be like, this didn't work, they busted. And you're like, brother, you can't do that. Test it out first. Go through it first. Make sure that it works before you go gung-ho. And your first day on the job was Monday, and you done booked your trip for Friday to get out the country, and you wonder why you got fired the next Monday.
Hey, Fearless, I know someone personally who got the job on Monday, was fired by Friday.
God damn.
And it's like, he got the job, he jumped on the plane, went to DR, went to Sasua.
Did he even tell them he was like wanting to be?
Hey, man, he was anxious to be overseas, man. And it's just like, he never recovered ever since. He never recovered because it was a high pain.
Look, honesty is the best policy. Just say, look, I want the job, I'll take the job. If it's contract work, you can have it written into your contract. If they have some kind of a disagreement between the tech department and your security as far as access and data, then they'll tell you right off the bat. But damn, just taking a job and not clearing that through the powers that be in the tech department. I'm a tech. I worked in the tech department. I do network infrastructure. That's my background. I sold it. I worked it. So all you have to do is ask. If we know that you know what you're talking about,
Look,
and then you can go.
I say this, with today's current market, you are within a 90 days probation. Any job you get, stay your ass home, learn the job, become an expert at it, then go. Don't get the job and just bounce on the plane and feel like you escape free. No, they watching you for the next 90 days, especially if it's a high-paying contract role or high-paying role period. So, look, stay your ass home for 90 days. Make sure that you pass the probational period, and then start planning to be slick. But if you're not, stay your ass home.
Hell no, I ain't slicking.
Like I said, in my workbook, I actually walk you through how to document your architecture, how to go to your security team, how to talk to your security team to let them know you know what you're doing. Why is this a secure setup? I walk you through that. So now, in case you want to throw all that out and you don't want to do that, you want to do it your own way, this is what I advise. Take a short vacation, maybe over the weekend or whatever. See if it works. If it works and you can log in, that gives you an indication of what level your SOC team is at, right? But don't just
Please don't do that. I'm not even
one-way
doing
trip.
it. Don't do that.
One-way trip and go away for months and don't have a way back home. You get overseas and you get locked out because you thought this worked or whatever, right? So I walk you, like I said, I walk you through all the steps. I walk you how to identify what level of security your organization is. I walk you through, what may work, what may not work. I walk you through actual steps of how to identify this. So, but I also put a disclaimer in the book saying this is your own personal choice if you choose to go this route, right? So I don't want to see lawsuits or come to me because I'm gonna point to that disclaimer in front and back, saying this is your own personal decision and your own choice. I'm just providing you the information of what you want to do.
Let me tell you something. From a tech background, if you get the confidence of the tech team to understand you personally know what the fuck you're doing, you understand the infrastructure, you understand the security requirements and processes, they will be your biggest cheerleader to say, yes, this guy knows what he's doing. We trust him enough that if he did choose to go out of the country, he's good to go. You got another cheerleader if you go through the proper steps. If you go and try to jump hoops, and like somebody said, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Not when it comes to you getting paid. It's not. You're going to lose that job like everybody's already testified. It's better to ask and be honest. If you want to.
So there's a question, if something changes with the architecture, how will people that purchase your book be notified on what new actions to have take? So as of right now, the books are just released. There's nothing to be worried about changing the architecture. I'm actually looking at extending out the series to do more into, like I said, monitoring, KVMs, cybersecurity, and also cryptocurrency, as well as how to remain anonymous and some other things. So I'm also actually looking at doing some additional work. So probably later on through the year, I'll be extending the series out. But there's also, you have my email contact, which is also in the book itself. So you can send me emails and I will try to respond back as best as I can to any questions or comments that you may have.
I got two questions for you.
Go ahead.
Because they keep saying if this changes, man, these travel routers really have been around for a long time. I mean, networking really doesn't change that much. I'm trying to think what really changes with it. It's not like applications that change all the time. The basic system, it's like a phone call, it's like, well, what if it changes? It's really,
it's the speed and the interface is really the WYSIWYG type shit that changes more than the network does.
Yeah. Software changes, software updates, but the overall basic of a VPN mesh will stay the same.
And I've been doing this a long time. Let me tell you, voice over IP. I even did 2-pair networking on a fucking field. Okay, so I've been around to see all this shit change. It doesn't change that much. It's more about the interface to the human that changes more so than the data. I mean, than the actual equipment. But go ahead. Sorry.
So
let me tackle my man's first question. He says, is this conversation about making sure the job you get in the tech field is notified before you stop doing the work overseas? No. Absolutely. This is talking about a whole field of things. It's talking about being able to travel safely and being able to connect to the internet without someone stealing your information. It's being able to travel safely and connect to your home bank, your HSA, or something like that. It's also being able to travel when a lot of people want to be digital nomads and they want to travel and be able to work remotely and they don't know how. Maybe they want to spend a few extra days on their vacation. Also, beyond that, it's taking someone who says, man, I have a remote job. I know what I'm doing. I want to travel. I want to make that 6 figures in the United States, which transfers to me being a millionaire or when I'm in the DR, and where I can have me a maid, a driver, a nice house, where my money extends further because I want that money to go further. So this is just the whole gamut, just not for one person. This is for the whole array of someone who wants to use that technology. It's for the person that says, look, United States is getting a little rough for me. I want to live outside the United States because, hey, I don't know where this is going, whatever it can be. Or I want to spend my 6 months somewhere else. I want to travel and see the world, and I don't want that to check in. Also with me, sometimes I get the permission. But the problem is, even when I have the permission and they know I'm going, I am somewhere, like when I was in Thailand, my work doesn't stop. Even though I'm on vacation, there's people that need to get a hold of me, because it's like, man, I need to get this done and I need to have it ready. And my phone just does not give me the flexibility to be able to look into accounts and do what I need to do to diagnose the problem. So I still need to connect. Even if I'm not working, I still need to, when you get that email that says, I will not be here from this date to this weight, and I will have limited access to my email. That would be me. But that access that I have to my email, there may be some solutions that I have to solve or I have to work on. This allows me to do it safely when I'm gone. So it's the whole gamut. It's like, we're not just talking about one solution. These are solutions to your lifestyle and how you fit into that.
That was a good segue for me to pull that book up, But buy the book. The man has 6 books out there on Amazon.
And he not charging you like an arm and a leg, man. What
Like
you would spend on this book?
Great price.
Yeah. What's the price of your book, sir?
I mean, my book is going to be higher, but go ahead.
No, my books are, I have Kindle, paperback and hardback. So the paperback and hardback, they take into account printing costs and things like that. But the Kindle book is only $9.99. The Gumroad products are a little bit higher because they actually walk you through the technical setup and give you functionally how to actually set these things up. So the books are knowledge with some setup. The Gumroad products are the actual technical implementation and how to do those. So there's 9 Gumroad products, as well as a free use case that you can get on the Gumroad if in case you just still want to understand how this setup works and why.
And it's important, like I said, man, the way society is changing, you really want to be prepared before anything happens. And, just using it, and with security, with people stealing your stuff, with having the notifications, and just being able to go freely. You want to make sure that, I think that device now, what are they charging on Amazon?
$100. I just looked it up because I had the.
Oh, you must have a new one. That ain't the one I got. I know that's
$100, but I just looked it up.
No, look this one up. The A1 1300.
Oh, I looked at the AXT.
Yeah, so you looking up the expensive one. This one to do it right for you. Look at that
expensive one. Man, this is the one I got. I've had this forever. What do you mean?
I got the $50 one. It works just as well.
So I put the link to the Gumroad in the private chat, so you can share that with those products in the case study. But I also want to point out, you can buy all of my products for a little bit over $100, and you just seen the not the GLI, but the home router of the work from home. They were charging
$430. Yep,
$500 for the same for a less a less technical, or how can I say it, a less proven solution. I actually have use cases. I've worked through this. I've worked with someone hand to hand just recently, and they are still working. Right, they were locked out in Colombia, and I got them up and running, and they're still working without a problem with a redundant architecture. So if that isn't a proof of value, I don't know what. If I told you, give me $1,000 and I can save your $100,000 a year job, is that a worthy investment?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you tell somebody you can either get some McDonald's or you can pay for this book. You can either get fat or you can keep them fat pockets. That's what you got to look at.
Hello.
So one of the things I wanted to do when I created this knowledge base is I really did want to put a lot of value and a lot of time into this, right? So this wasn't something fly by night. I spent months actually working through all the use cases and making sure this is something worthy. This is something I look at is at least for me personally, this is a legacy moment for me. Building out something, having something here. So if something unfortunate happens to me tomorrow, I leave something that is a legacy moment that can help someone else. And it's not charging an arm and a leg. It's more than covers its value in terms of what you're able to do, the life you're able to live, and the experience you're able to experience by being able to take your job on the road if you so choose, and take advantage of that location arbitrage. So I don't want to think that just because I put this information out, I'm telling someone not to do something I haven't done. Like I said, I've been doing this for over a decade. So I've had great times overseas working remotely. So I would like you to experience that, but be able to do it safely and know how and know why you're doing it.
And just to piggyback what Marcus just said, I personally have known Marcus for over 10 years. I personally witnessed him do all these things in different continents. This man's been working multiple contracts, making over 200,000 plus. You know, he sold all his things from Atlanta, moved overseas 10 years ago, and he's still living a great life. So guys, again, I'm all about receipts. Marcus do have the receipts, and he's been doing it for quite a while, and that's the reason why we wanted to bring him onto the show, and so he could teach you guys to do the same thing.
And just in case,
LJ Southern Vegan, the email is pinned to the top of my chat, and if you reach out to him, I'm sure he'll set up a consulting or a conversation with you for whatever you need to know.
And just in case, to piggyback on that, if you have any questions, you can go to the Instagram, FatBoy Travels LLC.
Let me do you one better. Let me do this. Let me show them a QR code.
Oh yeah, you can do that as well. But I have plenty of pictures on Instagram as well that you can go and look at. And it's PG, right?
And I showed you how it worked with me, and it's just using that same knowledge to really. I think we get stuck, guys. We get stuck in the how-tos in this, where other people in other countries, this is just secondhand to them. This is just what they do, secondhand nature. You know, but we're so stuck into we have to be here, we have to stay here, and we don't think outside the box. And this is how you think outside the box.
And also, too, guys, if you take the time to learn these certain skill sets, make sure the skill sets that you learn are very high demanding, because it doesn't matter where you are, they're going to hire you. If you have a skill set that they want, they're going to hire you. They don't care. So again, continue to retool yourself, continue to get more skills, get more certifications, so you can put yourself in a position where you can work overseas, have one of these routers, and live your best life.
Correct.
Well, we're at about 1 hour and 43 minutes. FatBoy Travels, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience that maybe we didn't touch on right now earlier?
Sure. Like I said, you can follow me on Instagram. You say you can follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to be a little bit more active on there. You have my email. You can reach out to me for set up some time, consultations, things like that. You also have my books. They're available on Amazon right now. The Gumroad as well. We have products on Gumroad. I shared that link out in the private chat as well. And like I said, I really put time and effort into this, even down to the covers, making sure there's something that I'd be proud of. So you're not getting something that was thrown together. You're getting something that was really thought out and planned for. So I appreciate the support. And like I said, reach out to me if you have any questions.
Anybody else?
I think I want to piggyback on what Black Man Travel said. And guys, get your skill set up, man, because when you got a good skill, I know it sounds bad, but that one job may not want you. Man, there'll be a whole list of people out there that's just like, we want you, we need you, help us out. I know in our cyber guys, man, they can really name the price on what they want.
Facts. And that's been the way it's always been. If you're intelligent, your competition already knows who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just waiting for an opportunity to suck you right on up. I've known that for all my life. I've always sold myself. And I've always gone into a company as a contract employee. You ain't at will and hiring me for shit. Never have, never will. And that was since way back. So understand your knowledge, your trade information is your knowledge, your trade information. They're selling off your knowledge for a fucking price. You can sell yourself short, or you can kind of gain all the information, all the money that you want under contract. It just depends on you and what you demand. If you want somebody to buy you off cheap, that's what they're going to do. They're not going to offer you truly what you're worth, but somebody else sees it, and they will.
And even I think we showed what the I mean, for the travel router, for what you spend, I mean,
$50 to $100, even with the expensive one. $100 is expensive. This brother's over 300K in income, but you can hear how crotchety he is when he can squeeze the ink off a fucking dollar bill for $100. Okay.
I'll say this. You guys are willing to buy a remote job list for $40, but yet you're not willing to invest in a router
To protect it.
Skill set. The foolishness of all of this. The foolishness.
Like I said, for the whole setup, if you include a router, the exit node for $4 to $6, Tailscale is free. And then if you say you buy one of my books that teaches you how to do that, you're still under $100 to save a $100,000 job. So you look at the immense value that you're getting for the cost. It outweighs itself tremendously. 1 hour of work can save you years of enjoyment.
and this ain't food. This ain't for y'all to go overseas and ball out. You still got to do the work, man. This is just like how I say it. What this helps me out to do is at 4 o'clock or 3:30, whenever I'm out, I can look outside and go to the beach instead of I got to take this trip and I got to go there. So I'm still working my 8-hour day. All this allows me to do is step out my front door to go to where I want to. So I don't have to travel on the plane and go somewhere. If I want to jump on that elephant, I'm right there. My weekend starts that Friday at 3:30. I'm already in the country to do what I want. Or I want to spend less. You know, you want to have a place where you like, $100 is great. $100,000 is great. When your mortgage is $3,000 and your car's this much money and your food, you eating out in Uber Eats, all of a sudden and a tax then took you and now all of a sudden you got $100,000 job living paycheck to paycheck. What if you were somewhere else where now your mortgage or your rent where you at is like $500 a month and your food for the entire month is like $1,000 and you can party. And so you get to keep more of what you just made. That's the difference. You can either get rich by trying to make more money, and there's only so many hours in a day, or you can get rich by spending less money. This is your spending less money if you're overseas. Think of it like that. I'm going to keep my job. Not only am I going to keep my job, I'm going to keep the majority of the money that I make. That's really a baller right there. You get to live the premium lifestyle and still get to keep the majority of the money you make. Invest in it.
I'll throw one on top of that. Think about your mental health.
Oh,
Regardless of any amount of money that you get saved, how much better will your mental health be when you're not fighting traffic? You're not getting on a plane every weekend to go somewhere. You're walking to the beach. You're enjoying coconut water, whatever you want to do. And when you get off of work, so at 4 o'clock you log off, 4:10 or 4:10 or 4:15, you're on the beach. Think about your mental health when you think about that, and think about how much people pay to.
There ain't no price on that, bro.
Vacation.
Mental health is big.
To speak to a therapist. How much do people pay for that? Right. Think about the investment that you're making in yourself. Right.
Oh man, people,
So
y'all
now,
don't do that, man.
you know, now that $9.99, I'm asking, how much value are you getting for that? Right. And like I said, this ain't gonna break the bank. People spend way more than $10 on doing a lot of other things. Right. A bag of weed costs more than $10 right now.
Oh no, you didn't go to the green.
So let's not
You go to the devil's lettuce, did you?
So let's not talk about, oh, I ain't got the money or whatever, right? This is not going to break the bank, right? This is an investment in yourself, an investment in your knowledge, an investment of your mental health.
I just say this: if you're ready to level up, guys, here it is.
And look, here's I don't want to steal your thunder and take this, but even if you're not using this, man, these books would just help you, because we only see the first book. Can you tell us what the other 6 books are? Can you give me the title of those? Because
sure. So the first book right here, Tail Scale, this is a consolidated book. This is all 6 in one, but the individual books have a little bit more information in them. So you have Undetected. It's called the Undetected series. So the first one is the foundational series, how remote workers travel the world and stay undetected. The second book is how to actually build out a tail net using Tail Scale, and walks you through step by step how to do that. The third book is actually on cloud nodes, what they are, how to build them up, who are the providers you can go through, and gives you several examples of that. The fourth book is actually a router playbook that takes a GLI net router and shows you how to set up different tunnels, how to set up your tail scale, how to set it up with the tail net. The fifth book is a little bit more advanced. That one gives you an advanced routing and use case that I actually went through, and how I broke one of the routers, trying to fix it and trying to figure out. So you actually get to learn what worked and what didn't work. And then the last one is actually like a tutorial, kind of like it just goes through a lot of the technical details and underpinnings of the entire architecture.
Have you worked closely with the manufacturer?
I did not work closely with the manufacturer. This is from years of use and years of playing around and going
Bro,
in.
I'm trying to tell you, I did one thing and I had the manufacturer literally drop a note. The same manufacturer. So if you show them what you've been working on, I swear to God, you probably get a sponsorship.
I sent them, I've been in contact with them. So they actually sent me some information, and I just sent them back, told them that the books were just released.
We just did one show on it, and I had already had them in my DMs or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm waiting to hear back from them actually right now. So I'm waiting to hear back from the email after I sent them the information. I also sent
good luck on that, bro.
So Nord is good with it, with all the information. I was in contact with Tailscale, so they're aware of the information. They don't have any affiliate dealings, but they're aware of the information in the book. So everyone that every one of these services that I utilize in the book, I've reached out or have affiliate deals with. So no one is in the book without their knowledge or without know-how, and I'm making sure that, you know, from a legal standpoint, that everyone's aware of what I'm doing and what I'm putting out there as well.
Fantastic. And this is a great conversation. I hope that you guys really took note on this, because this is the kind that you press stop, pause, go back and look. And we would really like to hear the people who purchased the book. Once you're on your remote job or just go out of town, let us know how it worked out. We really would like to have that feedback on how this changed your life and how you're utilizing it.
Like I said, I'd be willing to, you know, like I said, I'm more than welcome to hear some of that feedback as well. Like I said, you got the email, reach out to me. Like I said, I'll try my best to get back in touch with everyone. And, you know, depending on, you know, if things blow up the way I hope they will, you know, I'll try to get back in touch with everyone as well. And like I said, there's always merchandise as well on FatBoy Travels. There's some T-shirts and some mugs and things like that. So you can pick up some merchandise if you want as well.
Right, man. Well, congratulations on that. Just the fact that you got the books out there is an accomplishment within itself. And the fact that you're giving out so much knowledge. And wait, hold up. People don't know this. Hold up. You're not in the United States.
No, I'm not. Not right now.
You out of the country yourself. So I don't want people to think, oh man, he's just giving this knowledge and he's here in Texas or Atlanta and he's just feeding us some BS. The brother is living outside of the country. So he says he's not only the VP person, he's the VP president. He's actually doing what he's telling you to do. He's living the life daily.
So this book, was actually written outside the United States. The entire book was written outside the United States. So, so I left my last company, left my last contract in July. So since July, I've been primarily living in the Dominican Republic full time. So I've been back a couple of times, of course, but I've been primarily in the Dominican Republic full time. I'm currently still in the Dominican Republic while I search for my next opportunity. So, this entire book in the meantime was written during that time. And like I said, I've had multiple people contact me for many years asking me, how can I get set up? How do you use your router? How do you do this? How do you do that? And I've seen YouTube videos primarily talking, how to do certain things, but they never connected a lot of the dots that I saw, a lot of gaps.
You need to start a video series, bro, and put it up on your YouTube. The fact that you tried to go live on YouTube and you haven't utilized that yet, bro, I'm telling you right now, you need to. That's another key to getting sponsorships. You're a tech tester. When you test gear online and you give an evaluation, they look at you highly, and they'll want you to sponsor to get your opinion. So I'm telling you, you're missing some dollars on the table. I used to be that one slice guy too. I want the whole fucking pie. You know what I'm saying?
But I think how he's doing
I'd have to get someone to kind of help me lay that out and get an idea how to do certain things and things like that. So I'm not I'm technical in certain things, but other things I
get it.
Help. So
you got us now, man. Just reach out to us.
All right, we'll do. Like I said, in the meantime, I'm looking at, like I said, doing some work with AI and LLMs. Truly doing a
thank you for the segue.
Yeah. So I'm looking at doing some anonymous and truly uncensored LLM work, setting that up. And while I'm taking a break from this content, so looking at this content day in and day out for the last couple of months, you get kind of tired of it. So I want to switch it up a little bit. So I'm switching to do some AI and LLM work. And then once I get done with that, I may pivot back to extend out the series. I already got a couple of ideas on, where I want to take the series as well. So right now I'm on book 14 and I did all the way up to book 14. So, we'll see how that works.
Coming soon to a digital bookstore near you, and thanks to FatBoy Travels, I'm probably going to use his man for getting into Amazon. But this book is almost done. It's all my trials and errors on doing AI work, filmmaking, and setting up images for consistent reproduction for making them. I've already stumbled through everything, so this is just a combination of all my work to get you ahead of the game. Obviously, AI platforms change, but understanding the basis of how to construct certain JSON prompts to regular commands when you're talking to AI to get the performance out of it, you got to have key language. I've already learned it. I've already documented it, and I put it all in this book for you guys to utilize. I'll constantly update it and make it available. If you already bought it, you should be able to access it for free. So it's a one-time, you're in it. And all the updates I'll include for free for the people that already bought it. Because like I said, the software changes, but the root of it, if you understand it, and anybody will tell you in the basis, if you understand the root of the programming and why you're doing certain things, as the app changes, it just makes it a lot more easier and more effective. Like I was telling Kanon earlier, the tech has changed so much even in 4 months. The accuracy of the images I've been doing 4 months ago are way different now, and a lot more accurate if I can get the right kind of images from a person. But Fearless, you got your video queued up?
I don't, and I'm okay with it.
Why not?
I just didn't have it even queued up.
Queue up your video, bro.
I got to. But I want to tell you guys this, man. Look, this is serious. When I was even setting mine up, look, you spin, and I'm trying to help you guys out because a lot of people are like, I can do this on my own. I can do this. Yeah, you can look on YouTube, and there's some people who do some channels and maybe try to sell you. Do you know how many YouTube videos I had to go through and try to piece this together just to come up with something? The amount of, look, unless you are a worker in India making 13 cents an hour, that's the only way you won't spend enough time. If you make over $10 an hour, buying a book will help you right off the bat. Because if you try to do this, just like with Unc's book, just like with Mark's book, you will spend hours going through loopholes, down rabbit holes, trying to figure all this out. Why not skip all that? Why not go to where someone has already taken the trouble and done it for you? I try to tell people, if a millionaire, if a guy who made $10 million wrote a book and I can read it in 10 hours and I can learn all the pitfalls and everything he went through to make money, lose money, and learn from him, and I can do that in a weekend, I can get 10 years of experience in one weekend. Why wouldn't you do that? This gentleman is going to save you hours of heartache, and you're going to quit. You're going to buy something, you're going to quit, it don't work, and you're going to do it. Why not save yourself the heartache to just see what somebody else done? And you already seen what Ronin does with the AI. You know, if you've watched his video, you see what he does. So he's already saving you all the time and effort that you would have to go through. He's already spent the hours and the days and the months going through everything to learn, and he condenses it down for you. This gentleman has lived overseas, made the mistakes, done everything right, and they condense it down for you.
These are all the apps I've gone through in order to learn what I've learned. These are avatars I have preset just in ChatGPT. If you didn't know, you can actually set up avatars. So you don't, once you set them up and you put a bio, height, weight, everything in them, they lock them in. And then you can insert them into any image, any kind of scene you want. But nobody even talks about locking in images into ChatGPT. But I've learned how to do that. But you haven't seen a video on it.
I'm telling you guys, 2026 should really be about how you can spend your time more efficiently. Because you can lose money, get that back. You can get a friend and girls and lose a girl and get that back. The one thing that if you lose, you can never get back is your time.
Yep.
Make 2026 be very efficient and make sure your time is done well. Don't spend. I'm just letting you know that's how you get better in life and move more advancedly. Use your time more efficiently. One book that you can read in 10 minutes will save you 10 hours, 10 days, 10 months.
I was always taught to never try to reinvent the wheel. Somebody already went through the process. Let's go to them. I learned and was mentored by older men. I never had to go through half the shit as a young man because I actually believed the older men that were mentoring me. That's the whole point of this, is getting mentored from people that have already got it. This is what we try to do in the travel space. This is also what we're trying to do when we advise people in how to save money in taxation and where they need to use credit cards in order to get points. Fearless just went over a couple of weeks ago on how he uses his credit cards and buys different discount cards and refills them and how that applies to having credits, and he can basically eat for free and fly for free. I mean, it's freaking ridiculous. All the systems are out there that we are not taking advantage of. But guess what? Your YT counterparts are doing it. Your YT counterparts are paying for that mentorship. But for some reason, our minds, we're ingrained. Can't nobody tell you nothing. So we continue to hit our heads against the wall while everybody else is advancing past us because they're willing to learn. Even at 58 years old, I'm still willing to learn from people. But some people have it in their head, they already know it all. And that's the problem in our community. You feel like you already know it all. And you don't know shit.
Mm-hmm. Guys, I hope this really helps you guys out. We want to bring you some more informational lives in the future. We really are trying to make everyone successful and maybe cut through all the BS. Because I know you guys are traveling and you know all the BS that's out there. And maybe you want to participate in the BS and you just can't do it. But you need to know how to even get somewhere. And we're trying to help you with that. Because as you can see, things are changing in the world very fast. And if you're not capable of changing, you're gonna be left behind, and you're gonna wonder what happened.
You gotta say it, man. If you're gonna close it out, you gotta say it. Or you play a little t-shirt video. Which one you gonna do?
Let me see if I can play my t-shirt video, man.
No, while he's looking up his video, you got anything you want to promote? Or coming up, you got your digital book series on travel. You want to promote those because you haven't really promoted those much, bro. And
yeah,
here.
I have some things, but you know what? I have to look forward. So next time for sure. But definitely, I'm glad to be back to do a live stream again. It seems like I've been missing for a while, so I'm glad to see the comments and the engagement level. Thanks for Mark for coming on to the show and sharing his books and his expertise. So,
hey, shout out to Drew for the $4.99 super chat, the only one of the night. I appreciate it. He says, "Salute to the panel, Darnell. Buy the books. You know you're watching."
Oh man, y'all gonna do that to Darnell?
Oh wow, that's funny.
Instead, what I'm gonna promote, brother, I'm sorry. As you guys know, I traveled before, and I got sucked into what other people were doing at the time, and I said, man, I got to change up what I'm doing because I got a family now. So I wanted to change up my whole travel, how that done. So I'll promote I can't even say new. I just deleted everything on it before and just rebooted it.
You ready?
So I had to put it up. I'm ready whenever you are, brother. This is my travel channel. And you should be getting a video at least once a week. I got them in the background. I got 6 weeks worth of videos. So I'm here to show you how people actually travel when real life still exists, when bills still get paid, when responsibilities don't disappear, when freedom has to make sense. Some of these videos are about how I afford to travel, not by getting rich, but by making better decisions. Some are about traveling solo, what you learn when it's just you, your choices, and the road in front of you. And some are about traveling with family, the planning, the stress, the moments that are worth it, and the ones that aren't. This isn't luxury travel, and it's not reckless wandering. It's practical, it's honest, and it's built for people who still have a life back home. Different countries, different seasons, same goal every time. Travel more without breaking your future. This is flight risk, travel with intention, move with clarity, decide what's worth it. All right, brothers, that's how I'm trying to live for the 2006. I'm trying to show you how to travel the way you're supposed to. Not with the booty shake.
Super chat of the night, $4.99 for my nephew, Racket Club, who was down in Brazil. I don't know if you're still down in Brazil or not. I think you were in Bahia. Let me know if you're still down there. He says, thanks for the informative live stream. You're much appreciated. Come back many times. That's what we're trying to do now. We're changing our core pillars. We're not trying to have too many panels and arguments. We're trying to give out positive information and keep it pushing and mentor you guys in the way that you should be moving and the process of elevating yourself. Because obviously you're going to do the mongering thing for a while, but that gets old. Quantity gets old. Now you need quality of life. You need quality in the belief of somebody that's going to be around you for a lifetime and all those things that go along with it. And you need to learn how to have quality resources.
Brothers, if y'all don't buy the book, all y'all going to be is a Western Union poppy. You won't even be there. You just going to be sending money. Don't you at least want to be in a place where your money going instead of just sending money through Western Union?
Hey, my books are a lot cheaper than what you're going to buy out in Sasua.
Mm-hmm. And much better quality.
It's going to last a lot longer too.
Yeah, I know. Bro. That 15 minutes in and out, you're going to need this book, brother. You're going to need this book.
Oh, wow. You're going to Seoul, Racket? Okay. I'm looking forward to that. I want to see how you interact in Seoul, bro.
All right, fellas. I
got to get a good reception.
Yeah, we've been going on. Let's go ahead and bounce, guys. Right. We out.
All right, guys.
Yeah, there's no exit music. There's no drama right now. I got to get that together because this is a last minute thing, but we'll get it together. First live 2026. We're looking forward to having plenty more. Maybe not every Friday, but we'll get it together on streams that make sense. Okay. If you guys want to make suggestions in the comment section in each of our chats or our channels, let us know what you'd like to hear from us in Lion's Den moving forward for this year. It needs to be informative. It needs to be something of value. We're just not going to put up bullshit anymore. All right.